We're following breaking news here on CBS Sports HQ in the NFL, where the Cleveland Browns have acquired wide receiver Jerry Jeudy in a trade with the Denver Broncos. That's the latest from our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones. The Browns will be sending a 5th-round pick and a 6th-round pick in this year's draft back to Denver. As for Jeudy, the now 5th-year wideout had 54 catches for 758 yards and 2 scores this past season. He'll be another weapon alongside Amari Cooper for Deshaun Watson and the Browns' new offensive coordinator, Ken Dorsey. Let's bring in our NFL insider, Jonathan Jones, for more on this. JJ, you and I were just speaking briefly before we got this news here. It's something that you were expecting to happen, and now it has.
Yeah, that's right. Look, Jerry Jeudy has been on the trade block for the last 2 trade deadlines, and ultimately the Denver Broncos and general manager George Paton, well, they haven't pulled the trigger. Why is that? Well, after giving Russell Wilson a $250 million contract and after trading for Russell Wilson, they needed Russell Wilson to succeed. And so trading away Jerry Jeudy wasn't going to help Russell Wilson succeed. Now, of course, we all know the Russell Wilson experiment in Denver failed spectacularly, and they definitely just got less for Jerry Jeudy today than they would have had they traded him at the trade deadline this past year, or even 2 years ago. However, they had to see it through, and in 4 seasons with the Denver Broncos, Jerry Jeudy didn't quite live up to that number 15 overall pick. Never had over 1,000 receiving yards in any single season. This past year, his lowest career yards per route run at 1.8, which is about the league average. And so now he's able to start new, start fresh with the Cleveland Browns, who are going to take him on with the 5th-year option of just a hair under $13 million. Meanwhile, the Denver Broncos clearing that cap space of $13 million in addition to the moves that they made the last couple of days, like cutting Justin Simmons and restructuring Mike McGlinchey's contract to create about $31 or so million in cap space. Now they have created about $45 million in cap space as they try to get out from underneath all the incredible dead money, $85 million such dead money from the Russell Wilson contract.
Okay, so when you look at the Jeudy situation now, turning to Cleveland, and kind of what does he add to this Browns team? Kind of where does he slot in terms of this depth chart? Because he was wide receiver 2 on that Denver depth chart, and that Cleveland depth chart, I guess there's room for him. Where do you see him slotting in there?
Yeah, so obviously Amari Cooper is going to be wide receiver 1 there, but he's 30 years old. And remember, they got him via trade from the Dallas Cowboys 2 free agencies ago. They went out and traded for Elijah Moore this past year. They went out and just traded for Jerry Jeudy just today. So we are figuring out how Andrew Berry, the general manager of the Browns, likes to operate as it relates to that position with the Cleveland Browns. Let's not test free agency. Let's not go and overpay for someone. Let's send a draft pick for a quote-unquote proven commodity, and let's bring him in here. 5th and 6th, really low for a guy who was taken 15th overall, who is, I think, 25. He turns 25 years old next month. So a lot of upside if you believe in him, if you believe that he just needed a change of scenery. Obviously, he hasn't lived up again to that expectation, but we just saw the guys that Deshaun Watson is going to be throwing to. And I mentioned throwing to, well, talked with Andrew Berry at the Combine a couple of weeks ago, who told me at some point in March, Deshaun should be throwing again. You know, he had that shoulder surgery in late November, early December, and so he is progressing well. We're not going to know exactly whether he's going to be ready for spring work and OTAs and minicamp. They're not putting a timeline on it, but suffice to say, it's going to be Deshaun throwing to Jerry Jeudy this upcoming season, and hopefully this change of scenery does Jerry Jeudy well.
Yeah, in 4 seasons in Denver, 11 touchdowns, just over 3,000 yards receiving. Certainly a change of scenery, as you said, JJ. Hopefully it'll be good for a guy who was picked 15th overall in the 1st round back in 2020. NFL insider Jonathan Jones joining us to discuss the breaking news. Wide receiver Jerry Jeudy going from Denver to Cleveland for a 5th and 6th round pick. Now, in terms of the odds to win the AFC North as it stands right now, here's how they are. The Browns sitting at plus 550. The division belongs to the Ravens. They are the favorites at plus 100 with Joe Burrow and the Bengals at plus 175.